Guidance was a little soft last night, but I think this morning on the call, the company kind of made the case that March sales were quite strong. They feel like that momentum in this early part of the year is going to kind of carry on through the summer. And with that, they're planning to kind of support the early momentum with, I think the word they used was an aggressive marketing campaign. So if you think about the big events we have in the summer, makes a lot of sense. We have the World Cup. The company expects that to be kind of a growth driver, especially for their bigger brands, Modelo, Corona. We all associate those with the summer as well. So makes a lot of sense. So I think that's kind of explaining a little bit of the share move that we're seeing. The question now, I guess, becomes whether or not that this is just a blip or they're still kind of subject to the sort of secular decline we're seeing in the other parts of the alcohol industry.
How much of this softer outlook is macro-driven? We know that it's not really a good economy. Consumers are feeling pinch as opposed to with the products themselves.
Yeah, no, the company is making the case with when they kind of justified their guidance that it is the lack of economic visibility. They also withdrew their 2028 guidance as well for the same reason. They say we just can't see that far out in advance at the moment. But again, it kind of comes back to this question about whether or not it is an economic situation that they're kind of dealing with right now, or it is just they're subject to the kind of consistent decline we see in the beer market. Analysts are kind of split on what the real situation is.
You mentioned some of their brands, Modelo and Corona, brands that identify with the Hispanic audience in this country. The company in the past has called out the change in immigration policy as having an impact. What have they updated their thoughts there?
So during the call, they said they actually saw a sequential improvement in those zip codes that have a higher Hispanic population. So I guess it doesn't tell us a ton. If it's just a sequential improvement from sort of a lower start, right? They didn't give any sort of specific details on just how much of an improvement it was. So I guess it's something that we still need to kind of keep an eye on.
What about, the company in general has benefited from premiumization. Are we seeing customers trade down, and what trends are they pointing to?
Yeah, the company said that trend is continuing. So they're still seeing some strength within their premium brands. I think what may be going on is that people are drinking less, but when they do drink, maybe I'll reach for the nicer option. So we've seen that in other parts of the alcohol industry as well. So spirits has been pushing premiumization as well. So that trend might, maybe we don't think of beer as necessarily always like a premium option, but there are sort of ways to trade within the category.
All right, you're of that demo, a younger demo.
Thank you.
Are you guys drinking beer? Are you drinking the White Claws and all that iced tea stuff and all that?
Yeah, no,
stuff?
It's I guess when you go, obviously New York's a specific, beer, alcohol culture, bar culture. But I guess when you do go out there, you do see more people kind of holding cans. A lot of the times it's less a White Claw, it's more less seltzers these days. It's more these ready to drink. So think of like a Surfside, which is like a spiked lemonade, a spiked iced tea. Those are really popular right now. And it all kind of comes back to this idea that people are just changing the way they drink. Yeah. They're being more conscientious with how they drink. They still want to be social, be out, talking to people, they let their inhibitions go, but they want to not deal with all of the health consequences when it comes to drinking. They want something that's lower calorie. They want something that's lighter, easier to drink. So I guess it's a debate that's been going on for a long time of like, are younger people actually drinking less? It's really kind of hard to like tease out in the data, or they're just like changing, like we're saying, they're just picking different things.
Constellation, are they happy with their portfolio of brands, or are they always buying and selling stuff? What did they say?
I think right now they should be happy. They have some of the most popular brands, like Modelo, obviously unseated Bud Light a few years ago as the most popular beer brand in the country. Corona, I think, is fifth. They also have Pacifico is one of the highest growing brands as well. So I think that they should be pretty happy with that stable. But we've seen deals happening in obviously the sort of rumors around Brown-Forman potentially merging in a couple of weeks ago. So they're in this sort of shrinking market to gain growth, there's going to be probably more of these sort of swaps in portfolios.